The story begins by showing a mermaid. A monologue then explains that mankind is constantly at war and lives in a world created by humans. However, without women, that world would be nothing. The scene then shifts to a United States submarine traveling underwater. Suddenly, a Russian submarine launches an attack. During the attack, one of the crew members, Lieutenant Justin, begins hearing the voice of an unknown woman. The mysterious voice repeatedly tells her to kill everyone aboard the submarine. Meanwhile, the crew successfully neutralizes the incoming Russian torpedoes and manages to escape from the attack. The movie reveals that World War III has already begun between Russia and NATO. The submarine's crew consists of Captain Michael, Sergeant Wes, and Lieutenant Justin, who is the one hearing the strange voice. The medical officer aboard the submarine is Anna. The engineers are John and Peter. The torpedoes are handled by Marsh and another soldier named Mike. Finally, there are two British intelligence officers, Brandon and Bradford. Their job is to gather intelligence about enemy weapons, military technology, and strategic capabilities. Since they have escaped the Russian submarine for the moment, the crew goes to rest. A short time later, Wes comes to Captain Michael and asks him to come to the main control room. Before leaving, an ultrasound picture inside Michael's cabin reveals that his wife is pregnant and that he will soon become a father. Michael and Wes enter the main operations room, where Brandon and Bradford inform them that they have received a message from the Admiral. According to the message, Russia has already caused massive destruction. Because Michael's submarine carries enough weapons to destroy a major Russian military base, the Admiral has assigned this dangerous mission to his crew. However, they will have to launch the attack from close range. The exact attack position will be sent to them later. It is obvious that this mission will be extremely risky. Brandon and Bradford also explain that the Russians currently possess 9 highly advanced submarines. These submarines are equipped with sophisticated defensive technology capable of blocking communications with headquarters. Michael immediately becomes suspicious. He does not trust Brandon and Bradford because none of this important intelligence has been documented on paper. Normally, every piece of intelligence must be officially recorded. The two intelligence officers assure Michael that they will write everything down. Afterward, they leave the room. Once they are gone, Michael quietly instructs Wes to keep a close eye on both of them because he does not trust them at all. Later, Marsh is alone inside his room when he suddenly hears the beautiful singing voice of a young woman. Trying to find where the sound is coming from, he follows it until he reaches one of the torpedo tubes. When he opens the tube, he is shocked. Inside, he sees an incredibly beautiful young woman. Captain Michael and Wes rush downstairs after Marsh calls them to the torpedo room. When they arrive, Marsh shows them the mysterious young woman inside the torpedo tube. Everyone is completely shocked. Their submarine is thousands of feet below the surface, so it is impossible for an ordinary person to get inside the torpedo tube. Even if she somehow managed to enter, there is no way she could have survived underwater without oxygen. Michael immediately calls Anna, the submarine's medic. Anna tries asking the young woman for her name, but she remains completely silent. Since she refuses to speak, Anna takes her to the medical room for further examination. The crew assumes that she may have somehow become lost at sea before accidentally ending up inside the submarine. However, this assumption is their biggest mistake. After all, an ordinary civilian cannot simply enter a military submarine. They believe that perhaps she secretly climbed aboard while the submarine was on the surface and somehow remained hidden until now. That is the only explanation they can think of. Meanwhile, Bradford and Brandon are secretly planning something. Whatever they are discussing clearly does not seem good. Their plan is to disable the submarine's communication system. Bradford goes to carry out the task. Just as he is shutting down the communications equipment, Mike unexpectedly walks in. To keep his secret from being exposed, Bradford is forced to kill him. Afterward, he stages the scene to make it look as though Mike accidentally died from an electric shock after falling onto the communication equipment. At the same time, the mysterious girl refuses to eat any food. She drinks nothing but water. By now, it is obvious that she is no ordinary human. She is actually a mermaid, although the crew still has no idea. Meanwhile, Bradford informs Brandon about Mike's death. Around the same time, John arrives and reports that Mike has supposedly died from electrocution. Michael immediately calls Anna to examine the situation. Meanwhile, Wes goes to Brandon and Bradford to tell them about the strange girl found inside the torpedo tube. Both intelligence officers are equally surprised. They immediately suspect that the girl could be a Russian spy. After Wes leaves, Bradford tells Brandon that they should reveal the truth to the rest of the crew. Just then, Anna arrives. Bradford quietly leaves, and it is revealed that Anna and Brandon are in a romantic relationship. A short while later, the crew detects a Russian submarine directly above them on the radar. Before they can react, the Russian submarine prepares to attack. Suddenly, the same mysterious singing voice is heard once again. For some unknown reason, the Russian torpedoes completely miss their target. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Michael orders the crew to move as far away from the Russians as possible. Later, Bradford goes directly to question the mysterious girl. Once again, she refuses to answer a single question. However, something extraordinary happens. Although she never opens her mouth, she begins communicating with Anna through her mind. She also speaks directly into Bradford's mind. Even more shocking, she somehow knows that Bradford is the one who killed Mike. This is because she is not an ordinary girl. She is actually a siren, a supernatural creature capable of reading minds and communicating telepathically. Meanwhile, Brandon tells Michael that the mysterious singing may actually be coming from underwater speakers attached to the Russian submarine. He believes the Russians might be testing some kind of advanced technology designed to distract enemy crews or interfere with their operations. Later, an argument breaks out between Brandon and Bradford. Brandon insists that they must wait before launching their nuclear weapons. Bradford, however, wants to launch them immediately. The problem is that firing too early could cause the nuclear missiles to strike nearby cities instead of the intended military target, resulting in countless innocent civilian deaths. For that reason, Brandon refuses to approve the launch. Just then, Anna arrives, and Bradford leaves the room. Anna and Brandon spend some time talking together. A little later, Michael visits Anna's cabin. The mysterious girl is lying on a bed, apparently asleep. Anna tells Michael that the girl has been sleeping for the past 4 hours. In reality, however, the girl is fully awake. Meanwhile, John learns about the mysterious girl from Peter. Unlike the others, John immediately realizes what she truly is. He knows that she is actually a mermaid. Before he can do anything, the girl suddenly attacks and kills both John and Peter. She also cuts the power to the submarine's engines. As a result, the submarine begins sinking uncontrollably until it crashes onto the ocean floor. Despite causing all this destruction, the mermaid continues pretending to be completely innocent. At the same time, the admiral sends a new order containing the exact attack coordinates he had promised earlier. However, both of the submarine's engine mechanics are now missing. Wes first informs Marsh about the disappearance of John and Peter. Afterward, he returns to authenticate the admiral's order. That is when they discover something alarming. The order is actually fake. Bradford and Brandon have secretly altered the authentication codes, making the forged order appear completely genuine. Just then, the mysterious girl walks into the room. For the first time, she speaks directly to Michael. She tells him that he and his crew do not belong there and that they should leave immediately. This completely shocks everyone because until now, the girl had never spoken a single word. Bradford takes the mysterious girl away so he can interrogate her privately. Unlike the others, Bradford already knows that she is a mermaid. As soon as the questioning begins, the girl starts singing. To block the effect of her voice, Bradford turns on a nearby radio and increases the volume as much as possible. Even so, the mermaid still manages to take control of his mind. Meanwhile, Anna and Brandon are talking, while Wes carefully reviews the video message that contained the attack order. As he watches it, he notices something strange. The admiral's tone of voice and manner of speaking are completely different from all of his previous recorded messages. Finding this suspicious, Michael tells Wes to contact headquarters and verify the order one more time. However, Brandon reminds them that the communication system is still offline. He says that as soon as communications are restored, they can verify the order. Meanwhile, Bradford begins choking the mermaid. Hearing her loud scream, the rest of the crew rushes into the room. They immediately pull Bradford away from her. At the same time, Wes orders Marsh to go to the engine room, inspect the engines, and restore their power. Afterward, they handcuff the mermaid outside the engine room. However, she effortlessly snaps the handcuffs apart. She then begins seducing Marsh. Completely hypnotized by her charm, Marsh falls into her trap. The mermaid kills him as well. This is one of a siren's most dangerous abilities. By this point, only Michael, Justin, Wes, Anna, Bradford, and Brandon remain alive aboard the submarine. It does not take long for them to realize that Marsh has also disappeared. Justin then tells Michael that they still have one final option. They can perform an emergency blow, forcing the submarine to rapidly surface. They are already within the attack radius required for their mission. The problem is that once they surface, they will no longer be able to dive again or properly control the submarine. Even worse, they will have only 65 seconds to launch the nuclear missiles. If the Russians attack before then, they will have no chance to complete the mission. Michael replies that they have an enormous responsibility. If the engines cannot be repaired, they will have no choice but to perform the emergency blow, even if it costs every one of them their lives. Meanwhile, the mermaid begins manipulating Bradford's mind once again. She orders him to expose Brandon's secret plan to everyone. Under her influence, Bradford suddenly attacks Brandon and starts choking it. Since he refuses to let go, Wes is left with no choice. He shoots Bradford, killing him instantly. After everything that has happened, Anna tells Brandon more about the mysterious girl. She explains that the girl drinks nothing except water. She never sleeps. Anna even administered anesthesia, but it had absolutely no effect on her. By now, Brandon is completely convinced that she is not an ordinary woman. She is a siren, a deadly mermaid. To confirm his suspicion, Brandon fills a glass with water and adds a large amount of salt. He then covers his ears before approaching her. Despite the extremely salty water, the mermaid drinks it without any difficulty. She immediately starts singing to Brandon again. However, because his ears are covered, her song has no effect on him. Brandon tells her that he knows exactly what she really is and warns her not to waste her efforts trying to manipulate. He then walks away. Later, Michael goes to question the mermaid himself. She tells him that his intelligence officers are hiding important information and secretly sharing classified information with others. After hearing this, Wes ties the mermaid up inside the engine room. He tells Michael that the girl is probably trying to manipulate them. Wanting proof, Michael examines Bradford's body. There he discovers the genuine authentication codes. Realizing something is terribly wrong, Michael immediately attacks Brandon and knocks him unconscious. When Brandon wakes up, Anna injects him with a truth serum. Unable to lie anymore, Brandon finally reveals everything. He admits that Washington, D.C. has already been destroyed and the admiral is dead. Russia is now preparing to attack England and several other countries. Brandon explains that he knew Michael would never attack the Russian military base without direct orders from the admiral. Because of that, he and Bradford created fake orders to force Michael into launching the attack. Even after hearing this confession, Michael and Wes still do not completely trust him. Brandon then admits that he was the one who disabled the communication system. He tells Wes to restore the communications and says that every piece of evidence is stored on his laptop. Everything Brandon has confessed turns out to be true. He also reveals another devastating fact. Every other friendly submarine has already been destroyed. Michael's submarine is the only one still operational. Brandon insists that although he sabotaged the communications and forged the orders, he was not responsible for shutting down the engines. He also warns Michael that the mysterious girl is actually a mermaid and that she is extremely dangerous. At first, nobody believes him. That changes when they hear the terrifying scream of the mermaid. Brandon explains that her screams could allow the Russians to locate their submarine. Justin and Anna immediately head toward the engine room. Meanwhile, Michael and Wes finally receive a transmission from the British admiral. The admiral warns them that they must act immediately. If they fail, not only England but several other countries will also be destroyed. After hearing the message, Michael and Wes decide to free Brandon. Meanwhile, inside the engine room, the mermaid begins manipulating Anna and Justin as well. Michael activates the emergency blow, forcing the submarine to begin rising toward the surface. Meanwhile, the mermaid continues manipulating Justin's mind. She successfully takes complete control of Justin. At the same time, she captures Anna and keeps her from helping the others. The mermaid orders Justin to kill every remaining crew member. As the submarine continues its emergency ascent, Justin opens fire. She kills Brandon first. Moments later, she also shoots and kills Wes. During the chaos, Michael is shot in the stomach. However, Justin is not acting of her own free will. Realizing that she has become the mermaid's puppet and unable to stop herself from harming her own crew, Justin chooses the only way to break the control. She turns the gun on herself and commits suicide. Meanwhile, Anna manages to break free from the mermaid's control and reaches Michael. Although he is badly wounded, Michael is still alive. He orders Anna to launch the nuclear missile. Anna prepares to fire them. Just before she does, the mermaid appears once again and begins manipulating her. The creature promises that she can bring Brandon back to life. She keeps making impossible promises, trying to lure Anna into believing. In reality, the mermaid is simply trying to stop the missile launch. Anna refuses to believe her. Ignoring every temptation, she launches the nuclear missile. In the end, Anna successfully completes the mission. She prevents the Russian attack, destroys the mermaid, and sacrifices her own life in the process. During the final scene of the movie, the same opening monologue is heard once again. This time, it is revealed that Anna is the one narrating those words. With that, What Lurks Beneath comes to an